Good day, colleagues. Good day, colleagues. My name is Dina Moloja, and I'm a PhD candidate under the supervision of Prof. Ngundi and Prof. Mbekwa. The topic of my presentation is cyber a cyber security framework for integrating bring your own device in higher learning institutions in South Africa. This is the overview of my presentation. I will go through the introduction. I will share the research problem and related work, the research aim and objective, the research questions, the research methodology and research ethics. Then lastly, I will share the contribution of this research. Higher learning institutions are a huge sector with many customers spread across the globe. This sector has made strides in making its resources more accessible and improving its service delivery through the implementation of a method known as a bring your own device. This approach allows both staff and students to use their personal devices to access educational material online whenever and wherever they prefer. So using bring your own device comes with benefits or advantages such as flexibility, mobility, productivity, and cost savings in terms of infrastructure and university resources. However, with the exceptional growth of digitalization, cyber risk has emerged as a major area of concern. So now, as a digital technology becomes increasingly prevalent in universities and other institutions, the risk of data breaches, system failures, and other malicious cyber attacks has increased, potentially resulting in serious disruption and harmful. For example, the utilization the utilization For example, the utilization of complementary institutional Wi-Fi among stakeholders within higher education institution is on the rise. This trend is driven by the desire of both staff and students to connect their personal devices to the university network. So now, the more devices are connected to the university network, so does the potential for the various cyber attacks. These attacks encompasses the distribution of harmful codes. When we talk about the harmful codes, we talk about viruses, spyware, Trojan horses, etc. When we talk about the ransomware, that's where we talk about when the files or folders are infected or encrypted. Then the identity theft, we talk about the where the cyber criminals may send phishing emails to students or to staff pretending to be part of the IT department. And whenever the student or the staff click the email, it's going to request for them to provide their credential for network access. So that is considered as identity theft. So now the research problem is that the current state of cybersecurity in higher education sector in South Africa is fragile because of the concept of bring your own device, with many universities reporting cyber attacks on their systems and networks. The sector lacks guidelines on how to protect a system, data, and stakeholders against cyber threats and lacks legal and technical cyber skills. This implies that there's a gap that exists. Consequently, the continuation of these problems will lead to an increase in malicious threats such as denial of service attacks, data loss, and identity theft, resulting in operational dysfunctions and disruption in academic process. So now, bring your own device strategy can potentially increase student engagement and access to technology, but also it can lead to security risk in as much as bring your own device has been investigated, has been adopted and recommended. The potential risk that comes with it have not yet been given attention. For example, Mayayise investigated the factors that positively influence the employee's behavior intentions to adopt the bring your own practice in organizations. Another study conducted by Rutwana investigated the factors influencing bring your own device adoption readiness. On the contrary, Musarura and the colleagues evaluated the degree of bring your own adoption, the efficacy of device management, and the secure utilization of such devices within a higher learning institution in Namibia. So the argument of this research is that South African higher learning institution still lacks the guidelines to integrate cybersecurity into the bring your own device concept. So now this research aims to develop a comprehensive cybersecurity framework to securely integrate the bring your own device in South African higher learning institution. To achieve the above research aim, the following objectives were formulated, which are: number one, to identify technical security controls to protect institutional network for external threats and malicious software. Number two, to define user responsibilities, accountabilities, and best practices to securely connect and use personal devices with the institutional IT infrastructure. Number three, to examine national and international policies and standards outlining the rules and regulations governing the use of personal devices. Number four, to develop a cybersecurity framework for bring your own device in higher learning institution based on known cybersecurity policies and standards. Lastly, to validate bring your own security framework in higher learning institution in South Africa. Based on the objectives, based on the aim and objectives presented on the previous slide, the study seeks to answer the following questions. How can a cyber security framework be developed to securely integrate bring your own device in South African higher learning institution? Followed are the sub questions to the main questions. Number one, what technical security controls can be employed to mitigate external threats and malicious software? Number two, what user responsibilities, accountabilities, and best practices awareness programs should be included to prevent risk related to using personal devices with the institutional IT infrastructure? Number three, what policy governs the use of personal devices and how can it ensure compliance with applicable cybersecurity regulations? Number four, how can a cybersecurity framework be developed for bring your own device in higher learning institution based on known cybersecurity policies and standards? Number five, how can the proposed bring your own device cybersecurity framework be validated? Now, we're going to talk about the theoretical framework. underpinning this research. When you talk about the theoretical framework, it involves defining key concepts relevant to the research topic and problem under investigation. So for the purpose of this research, AT, which is activity theory, is going to be used as a theoretical framework underpinning this research. Activity theory is a theoretical framework for analyzing and comprehending human interactions with tools and artifacts. AT is selected in this study because it is found to be effective for shedding light on interactions, and it provides a comprehensive approach to understanding a specific activity. The opportunity for AT to explain human activities is enabled by its components, such as tools. When you talk about tools in this study, we'll be referring to ICT solutions such as software and hardware and materials for teaching and learning. Then you talk about objects. When you talk about objects in this study, we are referring to the processes and medium through which the teaching is carried out and learning is received. When we talk about division of labor, we talk about the tasks that are allocated to the community members, which includes the use of the ICT solutions, the devices used to access the ICT solutions, the support for ICT solutions, and the preservations of the learning materials. Then when we talk about the community, we talk about the ICT specialists, the staff, which are academics and non-academics, then the learners. When we talk about the when we talk about the rules, we talk about the regulations, principles, and processes of cybersecurity deployment for bring your own device for teaching and learning at higher learning institutions. Then we talk about the subject, which are the ICT specialist educators and the learners. Then we come to philosophical assumptions. The philosophical stance for this research is pragmatism. When you talk about the pragmatism, it acknowledges the concerns of researchers using both the qualitative and the quantitative methods, proposing that all investigations involved interpretation, intentions, and values that stems from real world and experimental knowledge. So ontologically, pragmatic ontology will be applied in this study, which highlights how context and human experience are crucial in informing our conception of reality. As epistemologically, pragmatic epistemology will be followed, which provides a complementary perspective where multiple methods of acquiring knowledge are combined to achieve the research problem. The axiology of this research suggests that an individual's values have a role in shaping the research problem, the research process, which necessitates that researchers not only acknowledges their own values, but also consider the values of others. So now, from both epistemological and ontological perspective, pragmatism is selected as the philosophical sense, like said before. So now, pragmatism is appropriate to the study because the experiences of the actors, which are the IT specialists, the learners, the support staff, and educators, the support staff my apologies, and the support staff and educators who will be critical in gaining insight into the usefulness of securely integrating bring your own device in higher learning institutions using multiple data collection methods. So now the research approach of the study is abductive. The abductive is most appropriate for this study for the following reasons. One, it gives a starting point by posing a question. Two, it is exploratory in nature. Three, it facilitates the triangulation of data to enable more robust and nuanced conclusions to be reached by integrating and comparing findings from many data sources, which are from qualitative and qualitative. Then this study will adopt a mixed method. This method is appropriate for this study because it aims to gain a deeper understanding of research problem by combining the strength of both the quantitative and qualitative data methods, which can be more effective than using either method alone. Then the design is the study will follow the case study design, whereby two higher learning institutions will be selected as cases chosen with a specific purpose in mind, meaning using purposive sampling for the aim of this research. So now, this table aligns the data collection tools with the research objectives and research questions. So now the research tools that will be used in this study are the interviews, the literature review, the survey questionnaire, document analysis, and the expert review. So now three distinct participants groups will be involved in this study, which are the ICT experts, non-academic staff, and academic staff. Within each group, a maximum of 10 participants will be selected. The participants count strikes a balance between diversity and engagement, as it is sufficiently large enough to encompass a range of perspectives and yet remains small enough to ensure that each participant can effectively convey their viewpoints. So now, as mentioned, that two institutions or two cases will be selected. A sample of 100 students from each institution will be asked to complete the questionnaire. The utilization of two cases allows for a cross-validation of the results obtained through different research methods, encompassing both qualitative and quantitative approach. An online questionnaire will be designed using Google Forms, incorporating Likert scale questions to facilitate this. So to analyze data, AT will be used to guide the analysis for this research from a pragmatic perspective. So every theory, or this is the AT, which is the adopted theory, will focus on three fundamental and core areas, which is the existence, the relationship, and the interaction. So now for qualitative, AT will be used to structure the research questions, collect the relevant data, and analyze findings within the context of the activity system. In quantitative, AT will be used to measure the frequency of specific actions, interactions, and tools usage within an activity system to analyze patterns and trends quantitatively. Furthermore, qualitative data will provide in-depth insights and context, while quantitative data will offer generalizability and statistical analysis of certain aspects of activity. That way, the quantitative data can complement the qualitative data. So for ethical consideration, given that human participants will be engaged in this research, comprehensive adherence to essential ethical standards and principles is essential. So now the ethical considerations are in threefold. the informed consent, which is the dignity of the participant, whereby the dignity of the participants as individuals will be upheld during the data collection phase. Then we have data privacy and confidentiality, whereby the participants will be granted the freedom to discontinue their involvement in the study whenever they wish, and there will be no imposition for them to share information. Then data storage and protection, whereby their identity or the participant's identity or personal particulars will remain undisclosed and anonymous, solely employed for research objectives. So now the unit of analysis of this study, we have ICT specialists, we have a staff which are academic and non-academics, then we have learners, then we have document analysis and literature reviewed. Then delineation and timeline and budget. This study will only focus on developing a cybersecurity framework to integrate the bring your own device in higher learning institutions in South Africa securely. The study will not focus on implementing various intrusion detection and prevention methods on any networks, devices, or systems to prevent security threats in higher learning institutions in South Africa. The study must be completed by 2025 with a budget of 114,000. So this study contributes theoretically, methodologically, and practically. So the theoretical contribution is that the theoretical contribution of the study will be the cybersecurity framework that will be developed to securely integrate bring your own device in higher learning institution. The methodological contribution, literature has revealed that AT has not been used to examine how cybersecurity framework can be developed to securely integrate bring your own device in South African higher learning institution. Thus, the methodological contribution in the study will be the usage of AT to analyze ways to develop a cybersecurity framework to securely integrate bring your own device in South African higher learning institution in South African higher learning institutions. Practical contribution, the study will empirically reveal the factors from both technology and non-technology perspectives that can be used to securely integrate to bring your own device in higher learning institution in South Africa. These factors are practical contribution to the study. Significance and outcome of the study. The primary significance of this research lies in formulating a cybersecurity framework that enables the secure incorporation of bring your own device in South African higher learning institutions. Furthermore, this study is valuable as a reference for other nations, particularly those within the African continent, to claim insights from its findings. Moreover, the research will make a valuable addition to the current body of literature, contributing to the realm of knowledge concerning cybersecurity within the educational sector. This research or this study will produce a cybersecurity framework to integrate bring your own device in higher learning institution in South Africa, a thesis and a research publication talking about the journal article and the conference paper. I thank you.